So as we move into spring, spring I've heard is a very challenging time for pond fish. Why is that?
Well, it's the rising temperature affects not just the fish, it affects all metabolic processes in the pond. Unless you are a horrible term, warm-blooded animal, a bird or a mammal living in or around that pond, then you're maintaining a constant body temperature despite the environmental temperature. The vast majority of life in the pond is ectothermic, cold-blooded, to use a more colloquial phrase. So as the water warms up, the fish are then becoming more active, but who else is becoming more active? The bacteria. So that as the fish start becoming more active, they're producing more ammonia because they're metabolizing more protein. So they're going, the bacteria that convert ammonia to nitrite to nitrate are going to become more active. But then bacteria that can be opportunistic pathogens, those that are able to move from a life where they're just decaying organic matter in the pond to, if there's an opportunity of a fish with a suppressed immune system, then they can hop on and start, causing a disease in the fish with that depressed immune system. And that could be just something superficial, like growing as an ulcer on the surface of the fish, or more sinisterly, it could be, becoming a systemic infection in the whole body of the fish, pooling in the kidney, for example. Parasites will become much more active because they have that same temperature activity relationship that the fish do, but they become much more active much sort of sooner than the fish. Being smaller and more basic, they can sort of respond much quicker. And also, not only is it just the metabolism of the fish, but the fish's immune system, all of these sort of protective anatomical and physiological adaptations that the fish has, anything from the mucus coat that they produce to what we can crudely call the circulating white blood cells in their body, and the levels of antibodies they can produce. A fish's immune system is almost as complex as the human immune system, and it has, though, that same temperature dependent relationship. And it's also not the way that as the water warms up, the fish's immune system doesn't instantly ramp up to a level of activity that's commensurate with the water temperature. It takes a sort of couple of weeks for it to catch up. It's a bit sluggish in catching up with that rising water temperature, but the pathogens are sort of active straight away. So we've got this window in spring where the pathogens have become nice and active in this warmer water, but the immune system still sort of rubbing its bleary eyes coming out of winter a bit and waiting to catch up. And that does leave the fish very, very vulnerable to opportunistic infections. And I'm not talking sort of super exotic parasitic infections from the other side of the world that have mysteriously found their way into your pond. I'm talking about the stuff that is living naturally in the system, in harmony with the fish's immune system. Healthy fish can keep these pathogens in check, but fish with a stressed immune system are going to struggle to do that. To bring this back to winter feeding, if the fish has not had to raid its fat reserves to get it through winter, and it's had this slow trickle of an easily digestible food providing it energy, they're just in a much, much better condition to face spring than those fish that have lost condition throughout the winter and they're just in a worse place than those that have been fed. But keeping the fish's relationship between what we're feeding, the water temperature, the fish's immune system, those three things are inextricably bound up and linked to the pathogens in the pond anyway.